I'm Mike Claparols from Creative Definitions, and I'm glad to be here. And I'd like to talk about HABI's Philippine cotton advocacy and where it is today. These are some of the fibers that are currently being grown in the Philippines: Philippine cotton, abaca, and the pineapple. Isn't this great? Because in the next few months, this will be converted into yarns and into fabrics eventually. Fantastic. So let me begin by giving a bird's eye view on the Philippine weaving industry. The Philippine weaving industry is estimated to have at least about 450 weaving groups with a weaving population of about 5,000, 45% of which are located in Luzon, 30% in the Visayas, and 25% in Mindanao. It is estimated that the revenues being generated by all these communities amount to about 150 million pesos yearly, maybe more. And based on an estimate wherein each weaver earn about 3,000 pesos per month. The weaving groups can be categorized based on whether they're traditional or non-traditional. Also based on the type of loom they use. So there are two common looms that are common in the industry. If you look at the upper right, that's the backstrap loom being used by the Yakan weavers down south. And on the lower right is an upright loom used by the Negros weavers. And well, with regards to weaving techniques, well, there are several techniques and there are several patterns, but the most common ones would be the plain, the twill, checkered, double weave, or suksuk, or the picking method. Then the weaving communities can also be categorized based on the materials being used. And based on estimates, 80% of the weavers in the Philippines use polyester, while the other 20% they use natural fibers like cotton, piña, abaca, and so on. Well, what's ironic here, because before the 1950s, the Philippines was actually a major producer of cotton. But during the 50s and the 60s, when the tobacco industries became more prominent and more influential, a lot of the cotton farmers basically shifted to producing tobacco instead. And well, as recent as 1993, there was about 35,000 hectares of cotton. But as of today, we estimate there are, well, you're talking about only about less than 500. It's actually a tragedy,
So
because prior to the 1950s, most of the weaving communities use cotton as the raw material for their weaving. And since then, the use of cotton eventually died down, well, with the introduction of the synthetics. And with it, the tradition of weaving using natural materials also died out. So, well, that's why HABI at this point is trying to revive that practice, wherein we're trying to revive the use of cotton among the weaving communities in the Philippines. The role of HABI will be more important in this new normal, especially education, publications and then webinars, good opportunity. This is a good opportunity to teach consumers, weaving communities, social entrepreneurs, organizations, including educational institutions. And of course, to continue the cotton advocacy and other fibers, working with private sector and government agencies to help establish sustainable value chains. Another important role of HABI would be the continuous support of the Philippine cotton advocacy, supporting local farmers to grow cotton with Gossypium hirsutum varieties in the western and the central Visayas in partnership with Philfida. And recently, HABI also signed a partnership with the Ayala Foundation and Philfida to do a pilot project to grow organic cotton. And in partnership with PTRI, we also partner with PTRI for textile technologies such as spinning. So why are we continuing So why are we continuing the cotton advocacy? Because the global trend is there towards especially the organic cotton. In 2014 alone, the estimated market for organic cotton products is worth about $15.7 billion. And I'm sure by this time that would have increased significantly. There's a global trend to use organic cotton in several um, products. If you look at this slide, the use of organic cotton in products such as shoes, bags, and even labels will be more common in the next few years. The global trend to use sustainable materials besides cotton will also grow, such as the vegetable trimmings and bamboo. And what is also more interesting, even the use of leaves that are being converted to type of leather for use in shoes and bags will be more commonplace. So, to cut the long story short, sustainable materials is the way to go in the next 10 years. Okay. HABI's role will also to educate the consumers to understand further the weaving industry, its contribution to Philippine society. And since weaving is a dying art, it's basically our responsibility to keep it alive. And that basically answers the question, why weaving? We have to preserve this art. And of course, supporting locally made fabrics would also include the support to farmer communities, the processors of the fibers, weavers, the social entrepreneurs, and of course the market in the end. So the whole value chain is covered here, and that's where basically HABI can help promote and increase awareness among the consumers. Thank you. To visit the HABI 2020 e-commerce website, which will be launched this October 21, 2020, and I'd like to appeal to everyone to support all locally made products